Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was loving you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they feel strange. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip.
Welcome to the Seahawks Man to Man podcast, powered by Blue Wire. Shout out to the new company. My name is Michael Sean Dugar. You guys can follow me on whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. My at name has not changed. It's right under my chin. Let me adjust my camera. That should be by the necklaces. There we go. All right. Right under my necklaces there on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, shout out to everyone who's watching or listening via our YouTube channel. Seahawks Man to Man is the name of the channel. That's Seahawks Man, the number 2 man. Same thing on Instagram and TikTok. Make sure you like, subscribe, reshare, share, repost, all the good buttons on all of those apps. Make sure you press them on top of following us and leave a review on every platform that we have. It really means a lot to us. Thank you in advance. Chris, go ahead, talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Christopher Kidd. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at CKIDD206, and that's CKid206.
All right, this is our post-game show. Coming to you after Seahawks lost to the Bucks by a shocking final of 38-35. Seahawks dropped to 3-2. Bucks improved to 4-1. Classic shootout, ladies and gentlemen. For you guys who watched and were there, you guys saw it was an ugly day. If you are like Chris and I and love defense, this was not it. You would never think, Chris, that the two head coaches are defensive guys who actually call the plays too. I believe that Todd Bowles calls them as well. You had two defensive-minded head coaches who also call the plays. I think there's only 3 that do both. These two, and then D'Amico Ryans in Houston. So you got 3 guys in the whole league who do what these guys do. Generally pretty good at it, except for today. This was some of the worst defense I think I've seen collectively in quite some time. Very, 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 very bad. And the Seahawks ultimately are on the wrong end of that. The Seahawks were down bodies, as you guys know. The injury report was long for both teams, so that's really just no excuse. But let's focus on the Seahawks side because the Seahawks pod. They came into the game. Let me see if I can remember with everybody off the top of my head. No Spoon, no D-Law, no J Love. First quarter, you lose D Hall. Third quarter, you lose Reek. I believe that's everybody. Because then Nehemiah got hurt, came back in. Imawari got hurt, came back in. So you're down 5 rotation guys for and it looked like it. I know that the next man up has been a good story. I've written about it. I've been very impressed with guys who have stepped in. Darion Kendricks, even Tyakatas, Anthony Bell. I'm putting S's on these guys' names, but you know who I'm talking about. Like, guys have stepped up, even up front. Mike Morris has been stepping up as they've kind of struggled to be whole in the front 4 because of Chenna getting back and then losing D Law right when Chenna gets hot, and then today you lose D Hall. Boy. For the first time this year, they look shorthanded. That was bad. And that was against the Bucks team that was also shorthanded on offense. They had linemen out. They had no Mike Evans, who may or may not be their best wide receiver anymore. But either way, he matters. No Bucky Irving. And boy, did that not matter. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold look like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning going crazy today against these two defenses. Secondary, LBs, pass rush, like it was bad. It was just 7-on-7 today. And yeah, Chris, I did not see that coming. I thought I kind of figured Baker could put up points because I love Baker. He's a gamer. He's not afraid to throw that ball down there. He'll let it rip. He makes plays shake off script. Love him. I didn't think he would come in here and put the belt to the booty cheeks like he did today. That was a good old-fashioned smackdown on what had been statistically the second best defense in the league for the first month of the year.
Yeah, I was so confident in the Seahawks defense that in a fantasy league that we are in with one of our friends and Javon, I said, Baker Mayfield coming to Seattle. Defense is playing really good football. Pass rush is getting a lot of pressure. I'm gonna sit Baker on Sunday against the Seahawks, and I'll throw Kyler in against the Tennessee Titans. That logically makes a little bit of sense. Boy, did I regret that decision. That boy Baker Mayfield, man, he couldn't do no wrong. I think he only had 4 incomplete passes. He was 29 of 33 for 379 and 2 tugs. As you mentioned, 7 on 7. All you had to do was give him flags. There was no line. There was no line. It was really crazy to see. And unfortunately, the Seahawks streak of giving up a rushing touchdown ended on Sunday against the Buccaneers because Rashad White, he got in there twice. And just great play calls from the Bucs and their offensive coordinator and what they needed to do and what they did. They executed it well. But overall, I just didn't see this happening in Seattle. I know home field advantage is up and down with the Seahawks as they've been struggling the past few seasons, but I didn't
You're putting
expect
it
a
nicely there, up and down. It's non-existent. Ain't got
You're
a home
right.
field advantage. Keep going. I'm gonna look. I've been right now. It's funny. I'm on True Media right now, looking up their record at home. Go ahead. I'm
I'm
gonna
sure
find
it's
it.
not good, but the thing is, it was just a really rough performance. And I didn't want to say this. I didn't want to do this because I was rapping with Mike about it prior to hopping on the pod with you guys. But can we end the bench reek, trade reek? The depth ain't what y'all think it is. Okay. Young 28, Nehemiah Pritchard went out there and became a rotisserie chicken. He was just getting toasted. And I felt bad for him. He was put in some tough situations. And I think Mike McDonald would maybe agree with that. I know in the post game conference after the loss, he talked about put it on him and he needs to get guys prepared. There are a couple instances where I'm thinking maybe they weren't prepared the way they needed to. 3rd and long, you have Nehemiah Pritchard pressed up against Emeka. I didn't like that move. And you know what resulted in? A touchdown. 3rd and long. And he just baked him. He baked him. And if Reek is in the game, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think that play happens. And then again, later on in the game, against Sterling Shepard, number 17, Nehemiah gets tossed. He gets tossed. All right. And Baker Mayfield's like, I got all the time in the world. Oh, you're open now. Throws a touchdown. 2 critical touchdowns given up by number 28. And I just don't think Reek has been that bad to where he gives up those plays. And it's tough when you're a young guy on the bench and when your number's called, you're expected to go out there and produce. He just didn't have a good day on Sunday against the Buccaneers. And I think now we can put it to rest. If Reek was in the game, I'm not sure all those plays are happening, but it is next man up. And that's all you would ask from your defense. Can you get stops? And unfortunately, on Sunday, they could not get stops against the Buccaneers, whether it be on the ground in critical times, although as a unit, they shut the run game down. I think Rashad White, if I'm not mistaken, had 2.6 yards per carry, so he didn't do nothing special. They did a really good job of stuff in the run. It's just when they needed to run the ball effectively on certain situations, the Buccaneers were successful. And it was just a tough pill, I'm sure, for Mike McDonald, the defense as well, that prides themselves on not allowing folks to get in the end zone running the football. Obviously, through the air, we talked about some of the mishaps, a lot of missed tackles too on Sunday. My goodness. And it's crazy because in the first half, it was I thought it was going to be a tight game, maybe end up Seahawks losing 21-17 or something. And then it became a shootout. Just players going down, next man up, and it just snowball effect of people getting banged up and opportunities being missed. And I'm sure watching the tape, Todd Bowles and Mike McDonald are going to be very pissed because, as Mike mentioned to start the show, these are 2 of the best defenses in the league, and they just carve one another up. So you could take a lot from this loss and learn from it and get better as you prepare for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but you gotta have that mentality of, you know what, we got our butts kicked. Let's forget about this game. Let's learn from it, and let's prepare ourselves better for another opportunity to go out there and be better defensively.
All right, I got it, Chris. I got it. I should have known on the top of my head. I've been at every game. I should know. We're 4-8. Let me tweet this out. This will show you guys what time we're recording this. Let's see. 4-8 at Lumen Field under Mike McDonald. That is. I'm looking at the breakdown right here. This is This is not
Pretty
great.
bad.
There's some good teams here on the schedule too, but yeah, you gotta handle
Protect home
biz.
field.
Yeah, you gotta protect home field. Yeah, this is not great. And they're giving up a lot of points in some of these as well. Gave up 36 to the Niners, 31 to the Bills, a 30 ball to the Packers, 27 to the Vikings, 38 today. I mean, yeah, that's wow. And I'm focused on the home part too, because I just don't think you can't be what these guys want to ultimately be if you don't protect the home crib. You don't have to go, let's say you get 8 home games. You don't gotta go 7-1 necessarily. But
One be fun.
yeah, I mean, you gotta at least, there used to be at least some type of aura about the Lumen Field, Quest, CenturyLink, whatever it's been called, where it's like, oh, this is a tough place to play. You got to come in here and deal with this. No, everybody coming in here and doing something like that's the really inexcusable part. You're losing at home. You already dropped 2 at the crib. You dropped 2 in the crib in the conference. Drop 1 at the crib in the division. You know, it's just you gotta protect the crib, man. Like it's bad. It's real bad. It's like, and they're toggling. Like in week 1, the offense was just buns, and that was the loss. And then in week 5, the defense buns. You know, it's good to know that they got in between that. They were good on every phase against the Saints, but yeah, man, this is just I knew it was that bad, but that's pretty rough. They gotta fix that. I know we got a lot of questions today and voicemails and stuff, so let's just jump into that. I'm sure it's going to answer a lot of what you guys wanted to talk about, and we'll talk about Sam as well. I think we got questions in here about him because Sam was balling today, and I do want to talk a little bit about that. But let's kick it off with our voicemails that we got.
Hey, Mike and Chris, what's going on? This is Jimmy calling out of Lake Stevens. Throughout the broadcast, Adam Archuleta kept talking about how Baker and the Tampa Bay offense was really kind of exposing Mike McDonald's defense in the middle of the field. And I kind of did notice they had several plays, big plays to the middle of the field. What was Mike McDonald doing or not doing that was leaving so much wide open spaces in the middle of the field? Thanks, guys.
Appreciate the love. I have to go back to the film to really, really dive in, but I do know of just watching it live, and I have the replay going here in the background as me and Chris are recording. 2 things stand out just as a basic framework watching. One, the Bucks are really committed to running screens. So when you do that, you have to make sure that you have perimeter discipline on those, right? So to do that and stay committed to that, you're going to have to sacrifice something. And some of that sometimes is going to be the middle of the field, particularly if you're anticipating screens, which I don't have the number in front of me, but it feels like the Bucks ran at least 10 today, like running back screens, receiver screens. I don't think any tight end screens, but they're just really used to that. And they do that. And so they make you have to respect that and honor it from all different types of formations and stuff. So that's 1. 2, it's a personnel thing, right? So you don't have Spoon. Spoon plays nickel. Spoon's really good underneath. There's that. The other thing, and if I had known Julian Love wasn't going to play, I probably wouldn't have used him for my standout play segment, but actually it ends up working out. Go back and watch that. Go look at Julian driving on stuff from depth. That was not happening today. There was a couple plays today. I want to say at least one of the Emeka plays late and at least one of the Tez Johnson plays. I was like, Julian should, as soon as he's healthy, as soon as his hamstring heals up, go to his agent and say, I need a raise. Because those were some Julian matters type of plays. Chris talked about it with Reek, but that stuff over the middle, Julian drives on a lot of that. Julian erases a lot of mistakes. I don't say he's like the best safety in the world, but he is like his talent relative to the replacement, whoever it is pretty high. It's pretty significant, and that showed up today. And then they probably need another coverage linebacker as well. Like and it's quietly been a thing. And I've asked Mike McDonald about this because he likes to play Drake Thomas and Tyrese, which is fine. He's the coach. But I also know, and you guys know this too from listening to him and probably reading my stuff and listening to our pod. Mike McDonald is also not a huge fan of this, like, let's rotate the guys in game. Because that's a little tricky. You know, you want to have, that means you just don't have a good enough guy in that spot when you're doing that. And that's what they're doing now. I don't know how much of today was like on Tyrese and Drake per se, but just broadly speaking, it had a personnel issue, it had a scheme issue. And I think the other part about the scheme ties into the screen stuff where it's like they did a good job, I thought, of the Bucks, that is mixing in quick stuff. Here's a screen for you. Here's a screen for you. Here's a screen for you. Okay, well, here I'm gonna have Baker hold the ball so he can hit this dig. Here's a Mecca. Here's Cade Otton. Here's Tez. Well, here's literally anybody who played today. We're open. Like that, they did a good job mixing it up. It wasn't all deep shots, wasn't all quick game like the Steelers do. They had a really good balance of like, okay, as soon as you get like too eager to try to stop this perimeter stuff underneath, here's a little screen for you. It's like that LeBron meme where he's like A&R and 2 Chainz album. It's like, here go 2 more for y'all. That's what their OC was doing. It's like, okay, you trying to stop our quick game. Here's a little over route for you. Here's a little dig route for you. Like they had answers. And maybe that'll be either my or Chris's one big thing to dive into that to give you some more specifics. But just watching it and having the replay roll behind me right now, that's what it looks like. It looks like they had a great mix and they were really missing Spoon and J Love today.
Hey guys, Steve from Spokane, love the pod. I'm wondering, do we have a Lumen curse on our hands? Before 2020, when it was still CenturyLink, the Hawks were always deadly at home. And it feels like ever since they renamed it to Lumen Field, that home field advantage has disappeared. Do the numbers bear that out? Thanks, guys.
That's a good question. I have that answer in front of me. I'm gonna just do the 2021 season until now, just because I don't want to. The 2020 is a little funky because I think they changed it when there was no fans, too. So 2021 to 2025, the Seahawks are 17-20 at the crib. 3-5 in 2021, 5-4 in 2022, 5-3 in 2023, and then 3-6 last year. So I don't know if this is a Mike McDonald thing, because it really started going south. Looks like under his watch. So that could be a thing. I also think 2 of those losses in 2021, one of them's got to be when Russ broke his finger, and then I think the other one is Geno losing to the Saints. For what that's worth. So I don't know if it's a curse, but like we were saying earlier, it is a problem, and I don't think it's. All right, Chris, can I make up a theory on the spot here? Hopefully it works out.
Let's do it.
One of the things I noticed early on with Mike McDonald is he doesn't really subscribe to the same notion as Pete, as like, I think we talked about this in the pod before. You know, Pete was like, every game's a championship game, whether we're playing at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m., right? And that was his thing. He told a story about how at USC one time they played Notre Dame. He hyped it up, big game, blah, blah, blah. They went up there to South Bend and got smoked. He was like, all right, never doing that again. Every game's the game, right? That was Pete's kind of thought process. And Mike doesn't really subscribe to that. Obviously, he thinks every game matters, is important, but like, he will be like, okay, guys, this is a division game at home. Like, let's turn up. Like, this game matters for seeding, whatever. Like, he will acknowledge that there is something to the magnitude of a game. I won't say he downplays certain games, but he will play up a game, if that makes sense. And I think that's cool too. I do think you could be seeing perhaps the drawback of that, of the some games. All games are not the same. It's like, okay, well, how can that backfire on you? Well, you don't win any games at the crib. I think that is problematic. And where I think is problematic, also, Chris, and I'd have to really dive into the numbers to see, but when we look at just Mike McDonald's tenure, it really feels like they play below what they should more often at home. Because even, let me look at their road record here, because they've only lost once on the road, if I have that correct, under Mike McDonald, I believe. I got that right? Yeah, 9-1. Their only losses at Detroit last year when they basically were playing me and you at defensive end and defensive tackle. I'd be the tackle in that case because you're faster. So when they weren't playing me and you, they've been fine on the road. But I also think on the road they've played, both units I think have played pretty much to what I would expect to them for the most part. No really extremes. I would say with an asterisk being the offense laid an egg at Chicago. That would probably be the one I'm like, okay, that's where one side of the ball just did not show up. Whereas they've had that happen, one side of the ball not showing up at home quite a bit. Like playing to their far below that unit standard quite a bit at home. More often the offense, but I mean we had it with the defense too. The Packers game, Vikings game, and that was after those units turned it around with Ernest and some changes. So, yeah, I don't know if it's a curse. Maybe it is a curse. They just got to fix it though. That's just really inexcusable to have the type of problems that they're having at home. Like I said, you don't got to win every game, but it should look a certain way, And like today, it looked bad. It's just real bad.
You ain't lying, man. That's. I wonder how long they can keep a head coach in a position where he doesn't win at home.
Not long. There's your answer. Tell you that now. I asked him about
Well,
that today. He was like, "It's been a point of emphasis since I got hired." I was like, "Yeah, you goddamn right it has. Your bosses ain't here for this losing, bro. They got their golf buddies in the suites and stuff, and their corporate homies in there, and they drinking the tequila, and they hanging out. They had all the top 50 players there and stuff, and you doing this in front of the Legion of Boom? Earl showed up today. Earl don't never come to the games. Earl probably disgusted watching this stuff. No, for real, it's bad. Yeah. So no, the answer is he will not be around long if you can't win at home. That's every coach for what it's worth, not Mike McDonald. The owners care too much about getting embarrassed at the crib. Guarantee you that.
Hey guys, this is Ross from Mill Creek. Obviously an absolutely brutal loss. We just ran out of bodies on defense, but the takeaway I have from that game on the positive side is Sam Darnold looked like him. Like, this was not like anything we ever saw from Geno. This was another level. He looked like a legit potential top 5 QB in the NFL. And I'm very excited for that going forward. Do you guys see it the same way? Do you think the Seahawks have found their guy going forward? Thanks for doing the show. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll see, Chris, because for one, that's an interesting take here. Because when I was leaving the facility today, I was like, that felt like a very Geno game. So like a few games I've seen Geno have, perhaps not to the same volume. Like, let me look this up, So if I sort by EPA per dropback, which for my nerd people, for my non-nerd people, we're just assigning value to each dropback relative to like the average in that situation and what impact that dropback has on winning. So by EPA per dropback, Sam had the best game by any Seahawk in the last 2 years. It was just nuts. It actually, yeah, this is pretty crazy. And then the next one is the best one ever in the last few years is since Sam and Geno were the quarterbacks is Sam 0.90 EPA per dropback. That is freaking bonkers. That was against the Saints. Today, 0.74. Also bonkers. Like, this is real high level efficiency. A lot of touchdowns, not a lot of mistakes, right? And if I just go by EPA per dropback, the next 8 best games are all Geno. And if you want to go to one where he plays this well and they lose, Thursday night game against the Cowboys comes to mind. That Falcons game where Mariota came in here comes to mind. Geno was spinning in that game. The Raiders game where they had let Josh Jacobs rack up 500 yards of offense, including a game-winning rushing touchdown for like 80-something yards in overtime, in which not every player on the Raiders even knew the play. I don't know if I've said that on the pod, but yeah, like 2 Raiders didn't even hear the call. It was just like, oh, we're running it. Game. That's embarrassing. So Geno's had a couple of these, a couple of Lions games as well. I want to say where he's really spun it against those guys. I guess they only lost one of those, but yeah. So as far we've seen similar stuff from Geno, I should say. I also think the Bengals game comes to mind on the road. There, Geno was spinning in that game, and I forget who their right guard or right tackle was. He was playing on one leg, and he was just cooked. It was real bad. So we have seen that. That's one. And Chris, I'm still not on the Sam Darnold hive. It's gonna sound crazy because he's balling. But he's had the ball 3 times to go win the game in 5 weeks. He got 1 win. Is that all his fault entirely? Maybe not. Maybe not. Should he have held on to the ball in week 1? Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's fine. Should Abe also just not get bull rushed by Nick Bosa? Yeah, that too. Multiple things can be true. Got it done against Arizona? Great. 1 for 2. Today, is it his fault that the ball? Oh my God, Chris, they're showing. I'm at the part of the replay where they're showing the Jalen Milroe play in slow mo. Oh my God, that was so bad. Oh my, sorry, I don't want to get too sidetracked. Stay on Sam. Stay on Sam. So today was Sam's 3rd attempt at a game-winning drive. Do I think he was going to go down there and win the game? Absolutely. I felt very confident. However, he did not, for reasons that Sam himself said were in his control. Now, trying to throw it away and the ball hitting dude's helmet and it getting picked, not Sam's fault. That just kind of happens. Post snap, I don't really see nothing wrong with what happened with Sam there. You can take a sack there because it was 2nd and 1 and they had timeouts. So you could take a sack and it's probably only like 3rd and 9.
9.
Or like 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8. You got to call your timeout. You got 2 plays to get 9 yards. It's not the end of the world. But I can also see why as quarterback, you're like, don't take a sack, don't take a sack. That's fine. Where Sam called himself out, and I'm glad he did, because I was kind of thinking it watching the replay. So the Bucks show pressure to Sam's right. They show pressure to the right. So the protection, as called, is slid to the right. Everyone slides right except for Charles. Everyone slides to the right. What happens is Todd Bowles is a sicko. Todd Bowles drops everyone out, and then Levante David, who was on the right, comes back left to pick up Cup. Great stuff. So you got 2 free rushers who come from the left. Zach Charbonnet can only pick up 2 guys, or pick up 1 guy, excuse me. He takes the guy with the closest path to Sam, which is what you do. And then he like, okay, Sam's gonna have to figure out this Antoine Winfield thing because I can't block 2 guys, right? And at that point, it is on Sam to just get rid of the ball responsibly. But where Sam called himself out post-game was like, I saw that look in practice. I should have changed the protection, probably slid it back to his left. And then he said, even if I slid it to the left, and if I'm interpreting Sam's comments correctly, this is what he was saying post-game, because I asked him about this. It's like, if I slide it left, and if I'm wrong that the pressure am hot off my right, Torrey Horton's open, no matter what. If I'm hot off my right, I got to speed out to Torrey. First down, he gets out of bounds. So he's like, either way, I could have controlled things on that play to get us in a better situation. He was like, he said, quote, that was, quote, bad quarterback play on the final snap. Should Sam have needed to score 6 straight touchdowns today? No, this ain't Madden. That's absurd. But we're just looking at Sam's play. I think that's very fair to hold out, to want more in terms of like, is he him, blah, 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 top 5 guy? And till we get those game winners more consistently, because that's the type of stuff that he can control, whether you hold on to the ball, whether you make the right protection read, or you read the play out the right way, read the blitz, because like he said, he saw it in practice. In a blitz, he ain't see, so it's not Sam's fault they lost. But if you're asking me, hey, is he him, top 5 guy? I mean, statistically, yeah, but ultimately you got to be able to go get it done. Right now he's 1 for 3. That's not getting it done at all. That's how you get into the offseason and Mike McDonald and John Schneider are taking selfies at Pro Day with the kid from South Carolina or the kid from Indiana, kid from Oregon. That's how you get that. You go 1 for 3 every time. You need a game-winning drive. So Sam's playing. He played great. He's playing good this year. But to that question specifically, I'm a holdout, because that when you're him, you gotta deliver in those moments at a higher clip with the parts you can control.
Yeah, watching it live, I'm thinking, oh, he got the protection right, and then I said, oh, Todd Bowles got him there. He messed up, and I was watching in real time, and when I watched the presser, I said, oh, okay, he did make a wrong read, and I thought in this offense it was more predicated on the O-line, aka the center, being able to do that, but Sam had total control on that one, and he just made a mistake. And to your point, Mike, he has to be able to make those and have that game-winning drive, which I think everybody in Seattle figured that was going to happen, because no defense was stopping anybody in that game. So whoever had the football last was going to win. And I was under that impression. I thought, okay, they can definitely make a game-winning drive here and end it on a field goal. Jason Myers goes out there and nails it, and you walk away 38-35, victorious. And now you're, instead of 3-2, you're 4-1. So that little mistake right there cost him. And that's something Sam is going to be tough on himself about, obviously. And I think he can definitely bounce back from it. I do believe, I thought coming into the season he would be really good. I thought it would, in a sense of that, what we saw from Geno. Because Mike and I were the biggest guys that critiqued him from training camp all the way up until the regular season. Because the practices, man, he looked awful. I'm talking throwing to Mike and I on the sideline, missing throws. It just did not look promising. And then the season started going, and Geno actually fit right in. I didn't attend a lot of training camp this season, but off of what I was reading and the times that I did go, Sam looked good. He looked fine. He was able to make a lot of throws, and he was confident in the pocket. But now it's about completing the game and having those game-winning drives. When you have the football, when you have opportunities to be successful, he has to come up big. And I think he can still do that, but it won't be easy, because guess what? Teams are definitely getting tape on what you guys are trying to do, and you are a quarter way into the season, so it's only going to get more of a challenge. And they got some teams coming up that are really good on defense. I don't think they're going to score 38 points, 35 points against the Jags and or the Texans, but we shall see, because those two teams have solid defenses, and Sam's going to have an opportunity to prove himself yet again if it comes down to a moment where, it's 2 minutes left in the game, you're down 2, we need a field goal the Seahawks need a field goal to win and or a touchdown to seal the deal. Can Sam deliver? I think he'll have more opportunities this season to do so. And if he can get to that point and be successful, I think he can definitely come in that consideration of a top quarterback in the NFL for this 2025 season. Let's stick with the offense. Mike, I got a DM from Robert Wagner. Aside from Justin Jefferson, Mike, you suggested Puka. Is there a wide receiver better than JSN? I believe JSN could do what Puka does in Los Angeles. I don't see Puka doing what JSN is doing with the Hawks. Puka may say something about this, though, because god damn, he went off against the Seahawks. But yeah, Mike, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I don't try to be prisoner of the moment with receivers. I've seen enough tape of all the elite guys to know that Jamar Chase would be putting up better numbers if his quarterback wasn't Jake Browning, who stinks. I didn't watch their game today, but he stinks. I know that. I've seen enough of that. But yeah, Jax is playing like a top 5 guy. I think Puka does more in the run game for the Rams than Jax does here. But I think you're splitting hairs. Those are two elite guys from the same draft class, by the way. But yeah, Jamar. I mean, JSN looks like he belongs in that conversation with the Jamar, with the Justin, with the Puka. Who else is up there? With CD? Who am I missing? Who else is like that right now? Amon-Ra. Oh, that boy is disgusting. His routes is crazy. You can't guard Amon-Ra. Sun God, he's cold. So there's a lot of guys. But Jax
Nico Collins too.
Oh, I love Nico. Nico's so shifty for a big guy. Like, he reminds me of Julio in the way he can run routes, but he's big. It is really crazy. Yeah, Emeka is cold. Quentin Johnston's killing it right now. Zay Flowers. I'm just looking at the top receivers right now. Pickens. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jason's playing like one of them dudes. The thing about Jax is he can run every route. Like, you've seen it today. Over route, come back in the phone booth on third and gotta have it. The precision on the touchdown pass, like to run up the DB's toes, break in to the oh man, no, that's the great hands. Yeah, no, Jax is one of them dudes. And it makes it really disappointing that these guys can't figure it out for whatever reason late in games enough. That's unfortunate. Because they should really be. I think it was Paolo Banchero, plays for the Orlando Magic, Seattle guy, went to Duke, went to Pride of O'Day High School, like Chris is. I think he tagged the Seahawks. He was like, we should be 5-0. I don't agree, but I can see how a fan would think that. It's like, dog, we are playing good enough to win these games. Like, we just, what have they lost their 2 games by? 7 points, I think, both at home.
Or less. Yeah.
They lost 17-13, and then, 7 points.
Yeah.
I can see
Oh,
why
total.
Paolo's
Yep.
like, yeah, 7 points total. Yeah, I can see why Paolo like, damn man, like we right there. He's right. He's right. I know there's a question about Jax, but yeah, Jax is playing like an all pro right now. This guy is just unguardable. This is crazy. It really does look like everything the receivers coach was telling me from Ohio State when they drafted him. He was like, Mike, just wait. This kid is special. I promise you. He's like, I coached Olave. I coached who else was in the league at the time? Garrett. There might have been one other guy from Ohio State. He's like, I coached all these guys. Jackson is special. And he's right. He's right. Jackson is different. You can't guard that dude.
No, he finds a way every time. Finds a way. Laid hands, doesn't panic. He knows exactly what to do and when to do it. This next one, we'll spin it to the defense, comes from our guy Kimwell. Does it make sense to trade for an edge at the 3-2 record?
I mean, it made sense before the season started. Oh man, they just showed the Nehemiah Pritchett touchdown now. Mecca, that's tough. I love how you guys are experiencing this rewatch with me. We love to do that, a rewatch pod. Yeah, man, Chris, they're just not getting enough production from the edge. It's just, and I love Boye and D Hall. They're great players to me, but you need the production. Now, D Hall got hurt very early, but in general, you need it a little bit more. You just
a little
need the
bit, Mike.
game
You're being very generous. Them brothers have combined for, I think, 1 sack.
No, they don't have one. D Hall. Oh, you mean the whole edge group?
I was talking about D Hall and Boye. They have a sack. I think is it Boye then?
No, they don't. They don't. The entire edge group only has 3 sacks, and they're all Chenna.
That's not good, Mike. I know the pressure rate is great, but they couldn't. Sam Darnold was really on vacation back there.
Oh, you mean Baker?
Or Sam Darnold. Both of them were. It don't matter.
They were. Yes.
Sam Darnold made a few escape routes that he found himself, dodging sacks. The one he threw to Torrey Horton, I think maybe I don't know what happened there. I thought he was gonna get sacked. Next thing you know, he threw a touchdown on Torrey Horton. But Baker Mayfield, he was back there chilling. He was really on vacation. Kicked up on the beach with the shades on. I'll take another drink. That's what it looked like for him in the pocket. He was able to just light it up. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. The pressures have been good for the defense in Boye and D Hall, but man, they gotta bring the quarterback down or something.
Yeah, I think if I have this right, this Baker dropped back 38 times today and got hit once. And the hit was the sack that Chenna and D'Anthony Bell split in the fourth quarter on the blitz. You can't have that. That's not. That reminds me, you remember, Chris, I think it was 2020. They lost to the Cardinals. And Kyler dropped back, I want to say 50 times, and they had like 0 quarterback hits. Remember, did I have that right?
Yeah,
okay.
It was either 0 or 1. It was embarrassing.
Yeah, it was a number that gets people fired, and they traded for Carlos Dunlap the next day. I'm pretty sure that is the week that they called the Bengals and said, "All right, send Carlos over here. What do you need?" Yeah, if D-Law and D-Hall are both going to be hurt for even at least 2 more games, yeah, you make the call. You pick up the phone and see what's out there. Maybe you don't pull the trigger, but I'm at least making calls to these teams. The Giants stink. I call the Giants. Hey, it's us again. Thanks for Leo. Tell Russ we said hey. Let's talk about Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't even know how well he's playing currently. Not gonna lie. I can look up his pressure stuff, but I have not watched a bunch of Giants like defensive tape to really tell you one way or the other. Looks like he's got a couple sacks, 8 quarterback hits. Okay, yeah, pressure rate over the average. What's up with him? What would that take? All right, let's start there. If they hang up because of the Leo trade, that's fine. Call the Saints. Call the Saints and say, hey, we see what's going on over there. How's Cam Jordan doing? I know he's like Mr. New Orleans over there, but Russell Wilson was our guy too, and we got rid of him. Ignore sentiment, make your team better. They say no, that's fine. Pick up the phone and call Baltimore and say, John, it's over. John Harbaugh, that is. It's over, buddy. You guys are cooked. CJ Stroud and them put up a zillion points on you guys. That's over with. How can we have what is this African brother's name? They have a bunch of Africans wrestling the pasture in Baltimore. David Ajabo. Let's go with that. What's up with David? I think he's in the final year of his deal. He's a late draft pick, I think, in Reek's class. Oh, second round pick. Drafted right after Kenan Boye. What's up? Can we get him? If all three of those teams say no, that you might just have to eat that and move on. But or wait till some more teams suck and call the Titans. Maybe I can't think of who else has edge rushers. But yeah, you gotta start making calls if you're gonna have a dinged up D Hall, dinged up D Law, because it's not enough. You're right. I'm being nice. Pressures are great. Sacks are better. Let me look up one more thing here, Chris, before we move on. I'm curious what the Seahawks pressure to sack ratio is right now, because it can't be very good. Pressure to sack ratio. Here, let's go to the next question, and I'll find that. That's going to take me to a little bit longer than I thought. Let's go to the next question, though. But yes, Kimball, they should trade for an edge.
All right. This next one, oh, I forgot about an offensive question. And this is from Adam, the redhead. As for the offense, can we stop with the Millwall one play per game? Question mark.
Okay, here we go. We're going to try to make this short because, boy, I could talk about this all day. Jalen, okay, let me just say what happened. Jalen Milroe came in for his just one play a game. Like they treating Jalen Milroe like like the PA person got on midfield and called out what seat he was in and said, "Who wants to come on down and run a play? You're in section 208, row J, seat 12. Come on in and run the speed option." I swear they're just doing that every week with Jalen. It is absolutely absurd. Even if it doesn't go disastrous like it did today, he fumbled on a pitch to can. The Bucks get it, they go score, right? Even if that doesn't happen, because the two times he's been in, other than that, it's just been regular ho-hum run plays. Haven't been bad, haven't been good. They just been, right? Today, it was bad. Stop. Clint Kubiak, I beg of you, brother. You guys told us on draft night. You got asked about it. Maybe not Clint, but at least John and Mike McDonald. You guys basically got asked, is Jalen Milroe Black Taysom Hill? You guys said no. You said he's going to be trained as a quarterback, and he's going to be a quarterback in our system. And when we put him in, we're going to do the things that Jalen does well to make his skill set come to life. All right, I'm paraphrasing, but boy, that sounded like Mike McDonald. I was there when he said it, so trust me. Chris, they lied. They're running the black guy plays with Jalen. Let's say the Bucks came. Let's say the Bucks came with 100 people. Players, coaches, trainers, whatever. Say they came with 100 people. I think Lumen holds 68,000, right? So 68,000 and some change. So there was about 69,000 people in the building. I can guarantee you didn't nobody in there think that Jalen was going to throw the ball when he came in. Nobody thought he was going to throw the ball because he ran all the black guy plays. Stop doing that. He is not. That's not him. He's either a quarterback or he Taysom Hill. And I can tell you right now, he not Taysom. It shouldn't be treated like that. It is a waste of all of our time. Because I don't even blame Jalen for the pitch. They just showed that play, like I said, when I'm on my rewatch on my TV. That is not. I don't think you could just put him cold in there and ask him to do stuff like that. It's damn near like running a trick play with the punter and asking him to throw. He throws a pick. It's like, well, yeah, he's your punter. You know, like he don't throw. It's a disservice to Jalen. It's stupid. It throws off the momentum. And there's a reason
they were moving on that drive, Mike. They were not marching, but it was a successful looking drive. You thought at most they'll get a field goal out of this. And you know what they do? Hey, Sam, why don't you come in motion from the opposite side and we're gonna run come on, man.
That might have been the worst part. Why the hell is Sam Darnold on an orbit motion? Who is falling for that? That is absolutely ridiculous. I remember. Last thing on this. This is just so bad. I feel so bad for Jalen. I almost talked to him in the locker room today, but I don't want him to say nothing on record to me that's going to get him in trouble, because I would have ran it. I'd have tweeted it because it was so stupid. Like if he'd have said something like, he's a smart kid, so he's not going to say, yeah, man, Clint bugging. But that's really what it is. They should stop doing that. I've thought that since draft night when they outlined the plan. I was just like, this sounds like what the Niners thought was a good idea when they drafted Trey Lance. That was stupid then. This is stupid now. Your mobile quarterback dude is not everybody. They're not all Taysom. Taysom's very unique, you know. Anyway, my last thing on this. I remember in training camp one day they ran a version of one of these Jalen and Sam on the field together plays. It got snuffed out. Remember some guys came on the sideline. I'm not gonna say the guys, but they were like, "Yeah, man, they need to have something else planned for that because we all know he's not throwing it, you know." And I remember what you guys said. I wrote it down because I was standing right there behind them on the sideline. I'm not gonna quote the guys because I'm not allowed to do that. But that was in like August, and nothing has changed. Everybody can see what's going on. And you know what, Chris? Even if it works the next time they try it, I still won't like it because it's just stupid. Thank you for coming to my Jalen Milroe It's Not Black Taysom Hill TED Talk.
This next one is from Andrew. Offense looks like it can be top 10. Should we trust that the results will follow or ignore the process stats till they get it done?
No, I think big picture. I don't know where you're at, Chris, but I feel pretty good about like their offense. I do. I think we saw fewer. I'd have to go back and chart it, but I don't think they threw one toss to Charbonnet. I don't
Oh,
think.
they're listening. Appreciate y'all.
I think they threw like 2 to Ken, but did you see any to Charbonnet?
I rewatched the game and I honestly don't remember if they did. I don't think they did. I think it was all
You would have remembered if they did.
Oh yeah, because it would have went for no gain. But the biggest thing, Mike, is to your point. I'm still concerned about the run game, although it was better for K9 and Zach Charbonnet had a decent day against a defense that was strength is stuffing the run. That's a plus, but can they do it 2 weeks in a row? Can K9 come back against the Jags and have 10 carries for 75 yards, 60 yards? You know what? 10 carries for 60 yards. If they can do that, that's 2 weeks in a row that K9 had a good day. If Zach Charbonnet, he comes in, if he can get 8 carries for 50 yards, that's okay. But my concern is that ain't going to happen next week. That's just how it's been for this team this season. They haven't been consistent enough. So I don't know if I can trust them to get to a top 10. Albeit, Sam has been playing really good football. But at what point do the wheels kind of fall off and the run game is just inept? Where defenses are like, we know y'all can't run the football. Like, y'all pass protection has improved tremendously. And Sam Darnold back there making dudes miss in the pocket, stepping up, buying time, escaping, doing all these wonderful things. At what point do teams just start blitzing the hell out of them and saying, let's see if you can really pass protect? Because the run game, we got that figured out. So that's kind of my concern. I do believe they have JSN, who is proven to be number one. I do believe in the young rookie Horton, that he can be a guy that goes out and makes plays. And then obviously someone who I've been on since they drafted him, and AJ Barner, I think he is just a safety valve. If there's something going wrong or something breaks down, he's wide open every time. So I like that standpoint, but my concern is in the run game. If they can't do something that they wanted to show this is our identity for the incoming season, and they're still struggling to do that 6 weeks into the season, assuming they don't do that well against the Jags, that's not a good look.
So I'm gonna hit you with some numbers real quick. They just showed that's a great deep ball to Jax, boy. Wow, what a throw! Sam was on it today. That's a shame. This really did feel like a Geno. This feel like there's been several Geno games like this where he makes a bunch of great throws and then they just don't win. The Vikings game where DK runs the wrong route. Like I feel like this happens quite a bit. So I'm gonna throw some numbers at you here real quick. First, to put a bow on something we mentioned earlier, the Seahawks ranked 26th in pressure to sack rate, which is awful. So they're getting pressures. Where are they at in pressure rate? Well, actually, they've dropped to 20th in pressure rate. So they're not even getting that many. And they're not getting sacks. Well, there's that. The run game today I actually felt kind of good about. And I'm looking at Zach's runs today. There was no runs for loss, I don't think. So, he had one run for a loss, which wasn't a toss. That was his first run. Levante David just was unblocked.
Sniffed it out. Yeah.
Yeah. After that, no runs for a loss. So that would tell me that there is no tosses. Yeah, and the only time he's even listed as running off tackle is his 5-yard touchdown. So we got no tosses today. So Kubiak, golf clap for you, buddy. You do listen to the pod, or you just watch the film. Either way, we're glad we fixed the mistake. But I thought the run game was like good enough for what it needed to be. Both Ken and Zach had success rates over 40%. Well, Ken's was right at 40. Both ran for like 3 first downs each, which is not like a high number, but they only ran 19 times total. Both were at over 4 yards a carry. Zach was right at 4. So I thought the run game was like enough. I think it would have been better because Chris, what happens in a game is sometimes depending on how the game goes, coach will be like, all right, let's possess the ball here. Like try to get a 4-minute drive, especially if your defense is getting cooked. Like, all right, we need to let's possess the ball. Cooked in a very specific way. Like if you give up a 3-play 80-yard drive, you don't really necessarily need to say, let's possess the ball, give our defense a break. Now, if you give up an 11-play 85-yard scoring drive, then you're like, okay, let's give our guys a rest. They were just out there for a little bit. You want to get the run game going, take some time, take your time at the line. They couldn't do that today. Today it was like, we need to just keep scoring touchdowns all day. And that's I think that affected how often they use the run as well. It just couldn't like play ball control methodical. It was like, damn, they gave up another one, huh? All right, let's go match that. And it's like true shootout behavior. So I thought the run game, given those circumstances, was pretty good. Ken had a good average, good success rate. Yeah, I thought they were generally pretty good today. And I think they can do what they did today against other teams, especially if they just stop running the toss to Zach. Because that was killing half their damn drives right there.
Yeah, good point there. This next one is from Erosi. The real story to me is a decimated defense and a defensive guru head coach not rising to the occasion. Am I right?
Yeah, but I think it's notable, like we said earlier, that both teams had injuries and both teams have defensive head coaches who call the plays, and both of them look like this was the first day of training camp. So it's not like just a Mike McDonald problem in that regard. Like my friend asked me what happened in one of our group chats, and I hit him back. I was like, hey, man, there's only so many good DBs on any given roster, right? Like, next man up sounds real great. Put it on a t-shirt. In reality, no team has like 7 good DBs. We talk a lot on this show about how sometimes you are really only as good as your 11th guy on the field. You really are. And that showed up today. I think I've mentioned this on the show, but I remember I used to talk to Dave Canales. He used to be one of the guys up in the booth to like be when he was receivers coach, pass game coordinator, particularly when Russ was the QB. And I remember one of his jobs was to like just alert stuff, point out what he's seeing. Like sometimes if a play didn't work, like in the first quarter, it'd be his job to be like, okay, let's write that down because on the backside, it actually looked open. So maybe we can run that again, yada, yada, yada. And another thing he used to point out was when they brought in somebody like, hey, alert, that's that rookie over there. Double move him right fast. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one example, and this wasn't Canales that told me this, but this was a different coach. He was just like, I think double moved one of them African corners that the Dolphins had, like Noah something Nigerian was his name. His first round pick. He came in the game. This is the COVID year, 2020. As soon as he came in, it was like, oh, yep, alert right there, him. They either double moved him or something. I think David Moore scored or something like that. And that was just like, that always stuck with me because it just shows how much is put into these scouting reports and trying to find every advantage possible. So you know what happened when Reek went out with a concussion? They said, hey, alert 28. Let's try to get him real quick. And is that Nehemiah's fault? Not really. He was kind of out leveraged on a post. I would still expect him to cover that, but that is tough playing outside leverage. You got an in-breaking route. Kobe, the safety, is occupied. That is a tough play. I've watched Spoon give up like 3 touchdowns on that play. At least one to CeeDee Lamb, one to Adam Thielen, and one I'm forgetting. So it's a tough cover, even if you're a Pro Bowl corner, right? So there's only so much of that on Nehemiah. That said, I mean, that is probably something you can, when you're Mike McDonald, he gets up there and he's like, I got to put our guys in positions. It's probably stuff like that. Like I'm asking my corner to be out leveraged against their best guy in the red zone in a position where he doesn't have much help. He gives up a tug. Whose fault is it? Is it Nehemiah's fault? Is it Mike McDonald's fault? Is it both? It reminds me, Chris, of last year when they had Trey Brown, he press manned up against Justin Jefferson in the red zone. Like Trey got beat. But at the same time, it's like, we all probably could have told you that was going to happen, Mike. You know what I mean? Like, but at to Mike's credit, he knows he should not have done that. He should not have put Trey in the position where he got to man up on Justin Jefferson in the red zone. You can't do that. Does Trey expect himself to make that play? Of course. All corners are irrationally confident. He should want to make that play. Problem is, coach shouldn't have put him in that. So, and I think that should Mike have done that? No. Are there other plays like that were examples of that? Yes. But for the most part, this was just dudes just not on their stuff. I haven't gotten to the point on my rewatch. Chris and I talked about this before we press record. For instance, Emeka just burnt Josh Jobe for 57 yards. You got to get on your horse there, buddy. You got to cover the posts. Cover the posts. He was flying. Is that a bad call? Maybe I have to go watch the all 22 to see it. But stuff like that, is that coach or is that player? So I think both defensive coaches today saw they saw why DBs go in the first round. Today was why if you a big corner and you can run, you going in the first round. Chris, I feel like today was today a bunch of college DBs got pushed up draft boards today.
This next one is from Hawks Ninja. What do you think of Mike McDonald's in-game coaching thus far?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if we talked about this much, Chris. I think Mike McDonald's actually a really, really good in-game guy. I think he figures out the issues really, really fast and fixes them. I think he did that in Baltimore as well. A really good example from his Baltimore time that stood out was actually the AFC title game against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs score on their first 2 drives and never score again. Or maybe they get a field goal because Lamar throws a pick or something, but I think the final score was like 17 to something. Like they shut that down pretty fast. They scored on the first 2 drives. They was like, oh, okay, let's fix this. Fixed it. And we've seen that a few times with Mike McDonald's, where we're like the Cardinals game in Arizona last year is another example. Like he just had a bunch of bad calls in the first opening drive. Kobe gives up a touchdown to someone I forget, and then they basically turn their water off for most of the rest of the game. I actually think Mike's pretty good at that, better than his predecessors, I think, in a lot of ways. So that I'm okay with if we're talking about just the defense. Today, I think we'll be an hour into the show, and we're just now getting some of the fourth down stuff. I think Mike's generally good with like fourth down and go for it things. Today, I didn't mind it as much, but I think I feel like he's regressed a little bit with that in terms of the fourth down stuff, like when to kick, when to go for it. I do think he read the room pretty well late to get the Torrey Horton touchdown. Because if he'd have kicked there, I might have just led this whole podcast with that. Because it was 4th and 2. What was the situation exactly? You remember that? It was 4th and 2, I want to say, at the 21-yard line. Yeah. With about 3 minutes left, and they decided to go for it. And it was a tie game. So you could have kicked. Probably would have made it. You know what happened, Chris? They would have lost. They would have lost. They went down there and gave a tug, and then the game would have been over. So I think generally his in-game stuff is fine, particularly on defense. Today, really, offense, I don't think he's involved enough when he should be. I think a lot of his offensive stuff is hindsight. Like, oh, yeah, watch the tape. Yeah, that wasn't good. Like, well, where are you on game day, buddy? You standing right there with a headset on. That's okay. I expect that when you have a defensive head coach. But, yeah, defense, I think he's fine. Fourth down stuff, go for it. I think he's generally okay, but regressing a little bit. But yeah, today I don't think that was the issue. Today I think it was a lot of like, I can't blitz Baker because we're not covering, but I also can't rush with 4 because we're not getting there. And he was just screwed and give up 38 points.
This is from Rosebug_22. He looked like he's back on Twitter. Chris Leeper back on Twitter. I know I usually see on Blue Sky, but nonetheless, any chance the crowd noise at home hurts the defense with regards to communication? Mike's defense appears to be complex, just a theory, but there has to be something to explain why they're ass at home. What do you think, Mike?
I do think that the noise, it impacts them a little bit, but not to the point of what we're seeing now. Like this is just not. You shouldn't look like this, and they know that. You want to talk about setting a standard, Chris? They came into this game only allowing 16.8 points a game. That's it. Second best in the league. And if you maintain that all year, you're probably end up number one, only giving up 16 and some change. Give up 38 today. 38. Not part of that's because of the turnover, but still, it's 35. And if that went to overtime, the Bucks are probably scoring again. Like it was not good, man. It was not good. I don't think it's a noise thing. I think they're used to that. Because it also didn't look like a ton of protection what's the word I want? Coverage. Didn't look like a bunch of coverage breakdowns either. It was a lot of just guys not reading the field, covering their guy. Someone asked about tackling post game. I think it was when we were talking to Kobe, I want to say. And I actually didn't think live it was that bad. And then I went back to my sheet, my little show up my notes here for people watching. I went to go back to my notes. Oh, there was a lot more MTs than I thought. I didn't realize how often, maybe because I changed pens at halftime. Oh, it was some MTs in here, dog. It's some 42 MT, 27 MT, 39 MT. It was not good. It was bad. It's bad. It's bad tackling day, Chris. I didn't realize that in real time.
Oh, I noticed
And
it
then
in
I
real
went back
time.
and was like, it was rough. It was a rough day.
The one thing that caught me was the screen on 3rd and 13 to a tight end, and he gets the first. And that's when number 39 number 42 missed a tackle. Had him right there, throwing it to K. Dotton. He missed the tackle. And the guy who's a tight end ran another 10 yards for a first down. I'm sure Mike McDonald watching that tape is going to be furious because, as you mentioned, Mike, a lot of MTs. I saw it live. This is going to be a rough day in the office Monday morning. Whoo-wee. I would hate to be I would hate to be in that room.
Yeah, it's getting to some of that point on the my rewatch here on the TV. Oof. I had to reset it because my internet was acting funny. But looking at some of these, you shouldn't give a tight end screen up on 3rd and 12. I don't care if the tight end is Gronk. Get him on the ground. That's. I think that's what the down and distance was, or it was 3rd and something, like you said.
3rd and long, Mike. It don't matter. Anything 3rd and 10, and they run a screen to the tight end, they're giving up. They're saying,
it was 3rd and 14. That's what it was.
You can't do that. That's a give up play. They didn't run to their fastest guy. They ran to their tight end. They don't expect him to get the first down.
Yeah, they didn't. Man, also, damn the crowd noise for a sec. They didn't have no QB hits, and I'm looking now. I don't even see the word PBU in my notes that much. They even get some PBUs today.
Josh Jobe did have a PBU against I think it was Emeka actually. He on the right side. I believe it was a comeback, and Josh jumped on it. He had a PBU there, so that was one that I remember off top. It was early in the game too.
The official game notes only gives 2, and they're both to Ty. I remember one from Ty. I don't remember the other.
Oh, no, Chris Godwin dropped it, but he knocked it away after that. So, that was on an out route on the left-hand side. So, yes.
And, that's a lot of dropbacks to not affect the quarterback at all. Yeah, they got to call somebody.
Well, as I mentioned earlier on the show, Baker threw 28 out of 34, 341. Or no, excuse me, 379, 29 out of 33. He only had 4 incompletes. So, a lot of dropbacks, and he was just finding guys wide open.
I found the play you're talking about. That got negated by Byron Murphy's roughing the passer.
That's right.
So that's why that didn't count. You're right, though. That was a PBU, yes, but that didn't count. Yeah.
Byron
so
Murphy,
basically, it looks like the only person out there swatting passes was Ty, and that's
missing tackles and swatting passes away. Rough day.
Yeah, not good. Even I thought even the first touchdown run was weird pursuit. Like Kobe has the alley to Rashad and then like chops his feet and then Rashad ends up scoring. Darion Kendrick played his block kind of funny. He kind of forced it back. He kind of like played it inside. It was weird, very weird stuff. Just they were not very sharp today on defense at all. Crowd noise or no crowd noise. That was just not what I expected from a Seahawks defense.
This is from Donna B. If Woolen is going to miss some time, being a concussion protocol, do the Seahawks try to get a cornerback?
So that would depend on Spoon's health, because I do think they could. Let's say Reek's concussed, misses a week. Let's just say that. I hope Reek is fine. Let's say Reek's concussed, misses a week. if Spoon's okay for the Jags game, and you roll out Spoon, Job, in your base / big nickel, and then you rotate between Eamon Warrior and Darian Kendrick, I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be fine. I don't think you got to go hit the phone lines and call somebody. And I don't even know who you'd call anyway, because I don't know if you guys have noticed around the league, there is not just like stellar DB play going on around here. Teams don't just have DBs to spare; they're all dropping like flies. I saw Tre'Davious White on my screen today during Sunday Night Football. Couldn't believe it. He couldn't cover Stephon Diggs to save his life. He was getting barbecued. I did see that when I got home. So ain't a bunch of DBs available anyway, right? So that's one. But I think if you got Spoon, Job, Darion, you should be okay. Even Worry, you should be okay. But I do think, to your point earlier, Chris, this showed that Reek's a good player. It can be worse, right? Like this is not a Trey Flowers, Tedrick Thompson, Kerry Williams, some of these where it's like, okay, literally anybody but that guy should be on the field. It's not that. It's not that, because we've seen that. We know what that looks like. I've covered that. Ugo Amadi, like it, and these are all nice dudes. That's fine, but it did get to a point where the coaches were like, whether they told these guys or not, we just need anybody but you out there. That's the point where they got to with those guys, whether those guys know it or not. This is not that. They're not there with Reek. He is very clearly a good corner. If you don't think he's elite or worth the contract or whatever, he is a good corner. The Seahawks need good corners. And so you can't just give him away. So I hope you guys can see that now. But I do think they can survive a Jacksonville game with like Spoon, Darion, and Job. Last thing on this too, I think, and this was the case with O-line as well. I do believe there is a significant difference between coming into the game cold and then practicing all week knowing you're going to start. You can just, I feel like, tailor stuff to the guys a lot easier if I know on Wednesday that we're not going to have Reek versus the third quarter when he gets concussed. There's a big difference, you just got to plan for that accordingly. I think that you just have more room for error when that happens, as we just saw with Mike McDonald, left his guy out to dry on some of those plays today. For what it's worth, the game tying one, I don't blame Mike for that. In coverage, at least. Nehemiah just got to plaster that dude a little better, and that shouldn't happen. Like Sterling was just wide open after on the scramble drill. That can't happen. But no, I don't think they got to make any trades. I think if they know guys are going to be out, they can plan accordingly a little better. Today was just scrambling, which happens. That happens sometimes. We see that with O-line too. Guy rolls his ankle, his backup comes in, and all of a sudden, the defensive lineman across from him looks like Aaron Donald. I've seen it. I saw Chandler Jones get like 4 sacks one time here. I'm pretty sure 2019, I think. So sometimes it's just hard in game. Like I think also they can probably have Darion Kendrick play more outside if they know that's what they're going to have to do going into the week. He did play a little bit today, but I think they're just more flexibility. I think they'll ultimately be fine. This will be an outlier game, kind of like what the Lions game was last year. But just coming off of it, this was awful.
Sticking with the defense, this is from Brian. I love Spoon, but I'm not sure I wouldn't take Jalen Carter at 5 if given the chance to redo the draft. Spoon just hasn't produced enough compared to Carter to justify that pick. Imagine Carter paired with Big Cat. Would you two feel the same? Am I crazy?
Well, if they draft Jalen, they probably don't trade for Leo. So you got to weigh those there. But also, I think we did this exercise. I think I asked you, Chris, if you would rather, because in that same draft, I think this is also how you have to look at it. In that same draft, both the Eagles and the Seahawks had 2 first-round picks. The Eagles had, I forget whose pick they had, the Saints maybe, and then the Seahawks had the Broncos pick, and they both had their own pick. The Eagles took Jalen Carter, and then they took, I believe, Nolan Smith, the edge rusher out of Georgia. He was a really good player. The Seahawks, with their picks, took Jax and took Spoon. Also good players. And I think I asked you, you said, right, you'd rather have the linemen, right? If you could redo it.
I'd rather have a stout D line. Because as you mentioned, I think on our pod last week, Having 4 elite dudes or having 4 really good pass rushers can win you games. And right now, the Seahawks don't have pass rushers, and they're losing games. And that's no discredit to Spoon, but you see the point there. Having some dudes on the D line. So if Jalen Carter was a Seahawk, your point, they wouldn't have Leo. But god dang it, Jalen Carter would be making they wouldn't be able to run the football, check. And they damn sure wouldn't be able to pass it as much because he's affecting running and passing. He's able to get pressures and sacks, get his hands up, bat passes down. He does a bunch of different things that maybe aren't noticed on the stat sheet, but his presence really creates problems. And if you have that, along with Boye, along with Derek Hall and these other edge rushers, I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence and Jalen Carter, that's something you could probably still make work. And I would imagine that would be very successful. So I'd still would say, yeah, I understand where this question is coming from, Brian, because I think you're onto something. Yeah, maybe the Seahawks do regret it and whatever. They never admit it, but at this point in time, when you're looking at it, wow, Jalen Carter is a champion, right? And he's a part of a defense that was elite. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are trying to find that D line. And yes, Spoon has been playing really good football. He's a top 50 Seahawk of all time already, and he's only in his second season. And there's a lot to go with that. But how much can he affect the game? Unless he's Deion Sanders. No, for real. Deion literally shut down one side of the field. That won games. There's a reason why Jerry Jones was like, yo, Deion, what's it going to cost you? And Deion said, well, let's talk, baby. And they made a deal. And what they do? They won a Super Bowl because Deion was that impactful. That's what Jalen is. He's that impactful on the D line, not just overall in terms of, oh, he's going to get a sack fumble or this. He's just very impactful and can change the defense. Whereas Spoon, he's probably going to get 2 or 3 really good plays, but is it a pick six or is it a PBU? That's the difference. And that's really tough ass for a corner, unless you're Deion.
Yeah, and I think I think in hindsight they made the right call on Jax over Nolan. Though Nolan's a good pass rusher. I think he's hurt right now, but yes, that was a good. Yeah, he's really really good though. Like he's next up type of guy off the edge. He's a speed guy. He's good. I remember I was talking to let's just call it a member of the Seahawks. Yeah, let's just call it a member of the Seahawks. Before the draft that year, the 2023, they was just like, Mike, Jalen is everything we need. Just like he is so good. It was like one, he's the best player in the draft. Because remember, there was talk he would go number 1 that year.
Yeah.
And then all the stuff came out. And then a couple teams needed quarterbacks. But if the Bears had kept their pick, there was like a thought that they would draft Jalen. And it was like he does everything we need. And because he rushes from the interior, you can't deal with that. Did you see that quote from Kyler Murray this week? Someone asked him, like, would you rather, like, what's worse, pressure off the edge or pressure up the middle? And Kyler was like, yeah, nah, if I had to choose, like, give me that pressure off the edge. I can deal with that. When that happens quick in the middle, I can't do nothing with that. And a lot of quarterbacks feel that way. And a lot of defensive coaches feel that way. Like, if we get that pressure up the gut, oh, it's over. There's only so much. John Snyder talked about that too this offseason. So, yeah, it's just those guys who can rush from the interior they're just different. If you would rather have Spoon, that's cool too. I don't really think there's a wrong answer here, but I do think I don't fault anyone. You said who asked this? Someone named Brad? Is that right? Brian. Thank you, Brian. If you're watching these games and you're like, Spoon didn't play today, so a little unfair. But if you watch the Seahawks and watch the Eagles and you're like, man, it'd be nice to have another one of those instead of what we got. I think that's totally fair. I think that's totally fair because when you have one of those game records in the middle, man, it's hard to ignore them. It's hard to avoid them. Like to Chris's point, you can ignore a DB a lot easier.
This next one, we'll stick with DB. It's a little tough, Mike, because obviously we haven't gone back and watched the tape, but off of watching the broadcast a few times tonight, this is from Aaron Ahmad, BC. How did Eamon Morby look before he went down with an injury?
Nick only missed a couple plays, so I'm looking at the rewatch now. I think his coverage stuff from the plays that I really looking at was fine. I want to see them get more out of him as a rusher, but I'm not even going to be too hard on him right now. Boy, this Tez Johnson dude is fast. Lightning. He is just so fast. I'm not even going to be too hard on Nick now, and this is why I really was not upset. I was just disappointed for Nick that he was missing all that time. Not because I thought he was going to be like Legion of Boom good per se right away. He just needs the reps. He needs to be out there, see this coverage or see this look, see this front, run this blitz, like to do all this stuff. He needs to do it. He needs to mess up sometimes so he can see it and correct it. Like you just need time on task and he's just not getting it. Maybe I'll do that for my standout plays, do a deeper dive on Nick or the whole rookie class. We'll see. But so far, I'm looking now. I think he's fine. They're not asking him to do too much away from the ball, which is good. Although if Julian's out, maybe they should try some of that out. But yeah, I really want to see get more out of him at the line. I think he had a TFL today, and that was it. But I just wanted to quote Mac McDonald. I want to just feel Nick's presence a little more than we did. But I don't think this game was about Nick in that way. I think it was more so about the fact that no one could even breathe on Baker, and that just made it really, really, really hard to function. Like I'm looking at this, and they're just like this touchdown that Baker's throwing right now to Emeka, like that's a perfect pocket. It's just nothing you can really do with that.
This next one is from Rumpelstiltskin. Projecting the rest of the season. Should I be more excited for the offense after Sunday's performance against the Bucks or more concerned for the defense?
I think that as crazy as this sounds, I actually still feel pretty good about the Seahawks as a team. I think we're seeing why I was probably like, oh, this will be like a fun team, maybe 9-8 or something like, like this is clearly a good team, but I do think perhaps not at the contender space. But it's still early. I mean, Indy is the number one team in the NFL right now. They're 4-1 with the best point differential as well, if I'm looking at this correctly.
Smacking teams, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, they put a hurting on the Raiders today. Ooh, ideal meal. That was rough. Let's see. Yeah, the Lions.
Lions number 2.
But the Seahawks' point differential is still plus 41. Like they're still a good team. Yeah. Whereas the Bucks is still only at plus 3. So I do think that the Seahawks are fine generally. They just got to get healthy. But I do think they'll be okay. Here's what I don't think. Here's what I do am encouraged by generally with this team. I don't feel like they're going to lose many games because the other team was better up front on either side. Today that was an issue clearly with the Bucks O-line being better than Seahawks D-line. But I do like if that doesn't surprise me if you tell me that they spend most of the game with 2 edge rushers that I trust in Chenna and Boye. That was it. That's all they had. They was playing Mike Moe as a big end. That's not his bag though with the edge rushing part of that. So if you tell me, Mike, they're only gonna have Boye and Chenna out there, well then yeah, they might not get no QB hits. They got the one with Chenna, and that's it. I would thought maybe they would have got more out of Leo, but you can maybe allocate a little bit more resources there when you don't have that much threat of the edge. So I'm actually not all too worried about either side of the ball because my expectations have not changed. I've never thought Chris and I should hit up the Super Bowl people and ask for a seat at Radio Row in Santa Clara. I've never really thought that. Had they won this game, I wouldn't have thought that. Perhaps if they'd have blown them out, maybe. But I just would have never thought that. And I'm still not there. So I don't even know if they'll win the division. The Niners look good to me. The Niners could put Chris out there at quarterback and they'd probably be fine because Kyle Shanahan out here doing his thing. They're just some teams out here that I think are a little bit better, that I trust a little bit more for the long haul. But in general, I feel pretty good about the Seahawks. I do. I just never really thought we'd be playing, me and Chris should book Super Bowl flights or anything like that. It's a good team. I think the defense will be fine. I think Chris said he wouldn't want to be an F film if he was a player. I would love to just sit in there at defensive meeting because that's going to be, if anybody in there needed a wake-up call, that film will do it. Yeah. Everybody's getting humbled by that film. I don't think anybody's film was going to look great at all today. Maybe some run fits look okay, but maybe some guys in there needed to see that film so they can be like, okay, let's never play like that again. Because that was bad. That was real bad.
Last one comes from Booby Stuff. I like that. What's your thoughts on the rookies so far this season?
Okay, who are my rooks? We got
Gray
who we got.
Zabel.
Oh,
Torrey Holt.
I think Gray's been good. I think Gray's been really good. I thought damn, it sucks to get this deep into the pod. Not shout out the O line because if they were bad, we would have started with them. I thought those guys were really good today. I thought they were good. I just think in general they've been good. Pass pro has been solid all year. I thought
Yep.
Sam working with them, trusting his feet, getting through his reads. That was the other what I felt was like the downside of Sam. I just disappointed for. I feel bad for Sam a little bit because he spent so much of that game making the right decision, and even the decision he made today to try to throw it away was not bad. Like it's bad luck. However, I do think Chris that the tipped ball
How about the
was
interception? He got lucky there. To Cooper Cup in the end
no
zone. Oh, my bad.
the one that did get picked, but yes, the one that did get picked was kind of them playing with fire after they had two passes that probably should have been turnovers today.
Yes.
They
yes.
they got the right bounce twice.
Cooper Cup
Or no,
just
sorry. They got a flag on the first one. I think that negated it. A very ticky-tack illegal contact flag on whoever was guarding Jax that negated the one pick that
number
came off.
27.
Yeah, that came off of Cooper's hands, got picked. They took it away. They got the fortunate end of that because I don't think that was illegal contact. At least not. I wouldn't have thrown that. And then the other one that should probably have been a pick six in their
Yes.
own, like
Man
a 2
drop.
yard pick six. Yeah, yeah. They got the right bounce twice. Eventually, the ball will just bounce the other way. The football is shaped too weird to not get that, So anyway, but Gray's able, pass pro, solid. Who else are my rooks?
Nicky
Even
Memori.
Worry.
He's
Yeah, been fine. Second game back or first game back, second or first full game. I got to relook at it.
Elijah.
I think Elijah's been good. I want to see a little bit more of what they showed today on that third down. It was early in the game. It was like third and medium. They lined Elijah up just one-on-one, I think with a corner. And he just tossed little guy. I think it was number 25. Something Smith. Let's see what number 25 for these guys. Maybe it was this Tyke Smith brother. Oh, that's a safety. Whoever. Doesn't matter. He just tossed that dude and got the first down. I like that. I think they should try to take advantage of more heavy personnel sets with him like they did on the long ball against the Cardinals. Get him matched up against the edge rusher. They got him matched up against Josh Sweat in that instance. So I think it's been okay. He's stuck behind a really good tight end and your boy AJ, who he offered up some names for his touchdown, by the way.
I saw that.
Yeah, the barn stomp and the barn. What was it the something barn stomp? I think barn step. Let's go with that. Barn step. I like that. Like Euro step, barn. Who else are my rooks? I feel bad for
Jalen
Novo.
Milroe. Yeah, tough. We can just move on. How about Riley Mills? He's still out, so never mind. I forgot about that. Feel bad for Robbie
right.
Woods too. I mean, he was
Yeah,
off
Robbie. Yeah, dang. This is kind of. Oh, Torrey. Torrey's killing it.
Yeah, Torrey and Gray Zabel are leading the pack.
Yeah,
and it would be Robbie Woods too if he didn't get hurt. To be honest, he was doing really good stuff on film. He looked good out there.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think Torrey is really good. I think Torrey's going to be a guy in the league for some time. He's just really good. He's really good. If they figure out how to get more of the yak plays that they run for Jackson, run some of those for Torrey, I think they'll really unlock Torrey because he's a really good yak guy, which is why he's the punt returner. Duh. But yeah, draft class looks okay. Looks okay. I would want to get more out of some of those guys drafted in the top 50, like Nick and Elijah, and hopefully they get more out of Nick. So far, it's okay. Gray is carrying the rookie class, which is Gray and Torrey, which is fine. I'm not too worried about it. In general, though, yeah, Chris, I feel good about the team.
It's funny because our expectations were you had them at 9 wins, I had them at 9 to 10 wins. I'm still sticking with that. They haven't really shown they're going to be less than that, but they also haven't shown me that they will be better than that either, because today would be a good chance to say, Mike and Chris, you're wrong. This is an 11-win team at home, right? Handle business. despite all the injuries, despite everything going on, you're able to figure it out and you win the game. That would have been a lot different. And unfortunately, they fell short. So no surprises there. We never said that it'd be a bad team. We just didn't think they would be a deep playoff team. You know, you get in and you get bounced after one game. That's kind of what I see at best. At worst, you don't even make it, which would be okay. This is a concern now. We John Schneider brought you in here to do something different than what Pete Carroll was doing, which was, hey, get to the postseason. Haven't done that yet. So this year, let's see if they can turn the tables and actually make a push. But I do believe it's going to come down to the final few weeks of the season because the Rams, unhealthy, are still top of the division. The Rams, did I say the Niners? Yeah, the Niners are unhealthy, top of the division. The Rams, they lost a tough one to the Niners, but they still look amazing. And Puka Nacua looks like the Samoan Jerry Rice. I don't know what's going on there. So he is dominating.
He's killing it. He is killing it. That dude is
Matthew
special.
Stafford's like 2 dudes on you. I don't care. You're wide open. Perfect. We're gonna run you the football. He is dynamic. He's become their Debo, dare I say?
Yeah, no, yeah.
He's just everything. Hell, they might say, you know what, you want to do a kick return just to see if we get an explosive play here. But yeah, those two teams, I'm thinking, yeah, they might have the Seahawks number still because Sean McVay is a wizard. He's special. But we'll see. We'll see. They got him coming up in a few weeks, so we'll see.
Do they?
They've
actually they got some pretty tough games here. Jags are going to be tough. Who they got after the Jags? Oh, the Texans on Monday night. Yeah, that Texans offense I still don't think is good, but we'll see.
Commanders.
Yeah, it's gonna be some good tests. I think the Seahawks are a good team. However, I can't take you seriously if I don't trust you to win at home. That's where it comes back to. Bring it back around. I just can't trust you. The road thing is good. It's good that they also win. It's good that they win on the road because in theory, let's say they get like the 6th seed. And it's like, well, they got to win 3 games to go to the Super Bowl on the road. It's like, well, they're road tested. Yeah, but you're just playing with fire. Kind of like we were talking about with the bounces. You know, it's like you shouldn't have to go do that. Win 3 of them on the road. That's you're asking for just a lot of stuff. That means you're probably going to like, let me pull up the standings now. This is just a sample, but what are they right now? They're the 6th right now. They would have to go to Tampa, then probably like go to Philly, then probably go to the Niners. Come on. You could be the Road Warriors all you want.
They lose that first one.
Or the second one or the third one. That's just hard. That's just hard to do. It's you shouldn't have to do that. You need at least one at the crib, at least. So yeah, that's tough. So I can't take it seriously. I think it could be a fun team, be like a wild card team. That's great. But if you want more than that, then you're gonna have to get like real dominance out of the trenches. Right now, their trenches are not a liability, and they're dominant. I would say you typically on the D line, not a liability on the O line. They had to take that up a notch. But so far, this looks like Chris, would you say 10-7? That looks about right.
Yep.
With Sam playing really well.
Yeah.
Sam
without a run game.
Ball.
A consistent run game, excuse me.
Yeah. No consistent run game. Like he was supposed to basically have in this training wheels offense. Where like, no, for real, where there's like it's a lot of schemed open, wide open guys and stuff like that. And it's not that. It is Sam today, after I would say probably Reek got the concussion. Glenn Kubiak and Sam probably didn't say it explicitly, but it was probably like, hey, we're gonna have to score every time we have the ball here. Every time. They could feel it if they didn't say it. And they went and did it, except when it mattered. So that's the other thing. You got to be able to close these games out too. They're 1 for 3 with the game on the line. Can't do that. That won't get you in the playoffs at all. And damn the seed, that won't get you in there at all. So got to be better at closing those out.
Well, we thank everyone that's watching us on YouTube, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate all the love and support. Thank you to the voicemails that came in as well. Thank you. Follow us on Instagram at Seahawks Man to Man and on TikTok at Seahawks Man to Man. Also, Mike, didn't you write a really cool book? I'm almost done, by the way. It's good. So good.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. The franchise Seattle Seahawks, a curated history of the Legion of Boom era, available wherever books are sold. You can also buy them directly from me as well. Home games or road games, just hit me in my DMs on all platforms. If you are curious as to why none of Russell Wilson's teammates have come to his defense online in the last 2 weeks, buy my book. You will have no further questions once you finish the book. I promise. You will understand everything that's being said by Sherm, other players, Michael Bennett, everybody. So buy my book. We'll catch you guys. What we got next? Oh, one big thing dropping on Wednesday. We're gonna do a Jags preview as well. We already got that lined up. So enjoy your week. Appreciate the love. We will catch you guys on our show dropping Wednesday morning. Peace.